Welcome to this channel. If this is your first time, I'd like you to kindly subscribe and share this podcast. Last time I did an introduction of the series, how to tap into the spiritual element of our bloodline, how we can use what we have, what we are connected to fight against the enemy positively. In an age wherein people are teaching so much about the negativity of where you come from, especially as an African, we have come to also give you an understanding that there is something good connected to where you come from. There is something significant about your family. There is something significant about your family. And so we will be beginning with the spiritual element of water. I said it in my on my Instagram platform, a live session on Instagram. I said that when we say the spiritual element of things, we are not referring to the astrological signs, the zodiac sign, the Capricorns and the Scorpios and the rest of it. These are not essentially, and I said that those things are the positioning of the stars and the different cosmetic bodies on the day you arrived in this world. But when we say spiritual element, we are talking about the transcendental, your primordial identity, even before you arrived on earth. What is the identity of your family? Today we want to begin with, we're talking about the water element, the spiritual element of water. This is a series that you must pay attention and jot down. As we go further, we will be talking about the attribute, the spiritual element of fire, the spiritual element, whose families are connected to the element of fire. You will see the attributes of these people, the element of the air, the element of the earth. You will see the taboos. When we will begin to talk about the taboos of this family, when you realize the characteristics and the attribute and you see it, and I'd like you to understand something fundamentally. No one individual is connected to just one spiritual element. You could have a major spiritual element wherein your star is mostly functioning from, or wherein the family, the star of your family emanates from or is functioning from, but you are not just connected to that element. Just like when we talk about temperament, the earthly temperament. Some persons could be choleric with a little bit of sanguine, wherein there are some persons who are a garnish of sanguine and a blend of phlegmatic. And there are those who are melancholy in nature and a little blend of choleric nature. And so there are many aspects. So you could be connected to the water element strongly, but the star that is functioning from you, or that is the star or the element upon which your star is functioning from, could be the element of fire. It could be the element of the air. When we go into this diverse element and the attribute, you may begin to see yourself, even there are persons who could have the connectivity to the diverse elements connected to them. We're beginning with the element of water for this episode. The spiritual element, those whose family, we are talking about family element here, family element. Because most of the problems that we are battling with, they are not even the things that you did in your lifetime. They could be as a result of the deconsecration, the violations of the taboos of your family. I told some of those who follow me on Instagram, I say this thing often. I said, when you say family problem, ancestral problem, foundational problem, there are two major characteristics of these things. And I'd like you to get this thing. The first one is what we call pasok. Pasok is the spirits that are within that family that have become aggrieved against that family. So for instance, perhaps you come from a family wherein members of that family, the progenitors of that family, used to be warriors or hunters or whatsoever they used to be. And so they decide that, okay, we want a certain spiritual empowerment to our craft. So certain members of that family, certain progenitors of that family had gone seasons before you were born, and they had contracted a certain spirit by virtue of a spiritual engagement. And they say, please, you are going to give us multiple streams of income, or you're going to assist us. Perhaps they are farmers and they say, you are going to help our crops to grow. Or maybe they are hunters and they say, you're going to assist our farm, our assist us to have good hunts or whatsoever. And in return, every month we're going to be giving you maybe some kegs of palm wine, or some cola nut, or some bitter cola, or a blood of a virgin dog, or the blood of a virgin monkey. I like you to understand this. And so they enter into this agreement with the spirits. And these spirits begin to enhance the productivity of that particular family by virtue of the covenant. The Bible says, remember, O Lord, thy covenant. And so they enter into covenants. And seasons after, a generation comes that have become of the light. They have realized that we no longer want to partake in this thing that this family have entered to. Or maybe they don't even know. And I like you to understand, I say this severally. I said in spirituality, there's nothing like I do not know, or I don't know, or I do not know. Ignorance is not an excuse. And so seasons after, these new generations ignores those engagements that were entered into by their progenitors. And so where blessings were supposed to come, those spirits takes it upon themselves to go and begin to block the blessings of members of that family. The spirit that was helping to bring money begins to halt money from coming to members of that family. So maybe one day someone from that family decides to go and visit a witch doctor or a native doctor, and native doctor say, go and bring coconut, or go and bring perhaps maybe like we need a virgin dog, or a virgin whatever, or a live cow or something, and they take the blood and they pour it in sacrifice, and suddenly it appears as if things that you say, this native doctor is very powerful. There is no power. What happened there is that the native doctor simply went and reenacted the covenant that was already there. This is called pasok. So it simply did what is called appeasement to that spirit. So the spirit that was troubling the members of that family, they say, okay, this was what the people in this family had agreed with you. Now we have given you this thing. But one thing that does is that sometimes the native doctor may not say to you or explain to you that thing he has entered into requires a continuous servicing. Then we have the second one called lagang. Lagang is when somebody goes to invoke a particular spirit against members of that particular family by virtue of anger, jealousy, bitterness, or whatsoever. And so they go and indict a particular members of a family. They say this particular family, the children are always the one having flying colors or doing well. They are always the one establishing, traveling, having good success. Why is it? And I want you to know that the greatest witchcraft is not until someone takes your name to covens. One of the greatest forms of witchcraft happens within the hearts. And so within the heart of some of these people, they begin to nurse evil and negative intentions. And those whose spiritual energy is low, or whose spiritual vibration is low, starts becoming victims of these orchestrations. In Job chapter 5, the Bible said something. It said, you shall be prevented from the vicious gossips of the heart. You shall be protected from vicious gossips. Gossips that can bring a man down. And so we want to begin to talk about these things. So we begin with the water family, the element of water. Sometimes people that are struggling, you have gone to do different kinds of water appeasement. There are no result in your life. These problems have remained. There is something in your family that perhaps have been violated. There is a consecration that has been broken. There is something in your family that you probably do not know. And I pray that God is going to come and give you clarity, even through your dreams, as you follow us through this podcast, these episodes. What are the characteristics? What are the attributes of the water family? People whose families are connected to the spiritual element of water. There are over 9 variants. There are over 9 attributes. Number 1, we have those who have this connection with the spiritual element of water. They have what first is called the gift of healings. The gift of healings. Some seasons ago, I was talking to a friend, and I told him, I said, when you see in the Bible mentioned the gift of healings, it is the only gift with a plural, because healing have diverse dimensions. There is the healing of the mind, there is the healing of the soul, there is the healing of the body, there is the healing of the spirits. Those who are connected to the water family may find themselves that people who come around you have a certain level of comfort and revibration and rejuvenation that they extract. You may realize that perhaps in your niche, in your workspace, in what you do, people have a way that when they speak to you, they extract motivation. It is one of the attributes of the water families. The gift of healing. You realize that you sometimes, there are many persons, when you sleep, you may see yourself like you are taking a spiritual process of praying for people, of healing people. People may come. It could be even the healing of barrenness. When you pray for someone, a woman who has been having issues with the fruit of the womb, suddenly it begins to come. This is one of the attributes of the water family. And we have number 2, the gift of visions. These people can dream dreams. They can dream dreams. They don't need to pray before they dream. They can dream dreams. Sometimes it could be close visions, perhaps which has to do with dreams. They could have trances at ease. They don't need to fast. In some families, you have to fast and pray. You realize that you just sit down. You receive sensations of things. The gift of visions, trance. We also have what we call the gift of open vision. There are many persons, so many persons, they are not even Christians. They are not even as God-fearing as you are. But when if they tell you that I see someone coming to give you a vehicle, exactly as they could be very ungodly, but when it comes to vision and abilities, they have it. Water family. I want you to stay with us through this episode. We'll be right back.